So I was strolling down my Facebook news feed and I saw one of those fight videos. But this fight video was a little different. So in this fight video it had like a whole neighborhood of what looked like to be like all teenagers, like one hood of all teenagers. Everybody was just fighting. And when I was looking at it, I was like, man, these guys look totally controlled by something. I was like, why are they all fighting? It reminded me of my days, my early years back in Boyd Hill. But but anyway, man, it was like a whole group of black young men, they all fighting. And it's just like they just being controlled and they're just fighting. And I bet if you ask, man, they wouldn't have a legitimate reason to be fighting one another. They just was fighting. And what reason? What are you gaining? What are you gaining in this fight against each other? And my other thing is, if you got a whole community of people with the same skin as you, and take away skin for a little bit, but people in the same predicament as you, okay? You all stay in the hood, so you all are not rich. Why can't you come together and rise up? Why do you have to fight one another? But so that had me feeling a certain way. And I saw more fight videos, and then I just came into the living room and I just started praying. I was like, why, Lord, this world, like, who would want to raise a child up in this world? Who would want their children to go to public school in this world? This world, God, why is it like the way it is? Well, I know why it's the way it is. And it's because of sin. Sin in everybody. And I believe with all my heart there's one cure for sin. And I have some scriptures that I wanted to share and that talks about this, because I really feel like in the Bible there are answers to all the pandemonium, all the chaos, and it's a lot of chaos going on right now in the US. And you can rally, you can parade, and you can lay down in the streets like you're dead, saying Black Lives Matter, or I don't know. You could do all of these things, but it's not going to change a person's heart. It's not. You can protest, man, but only one thing changes a person's heart, and I want to talk to you guys about it. So check this out. This is first scripture, y'all. Colossians chapter 1 and verse 21. Colossians chapter 1 and verse 21. It says, "And you who once were alienated and hostile in mind, doing evil deeds." Okay, so it says you were alienated from God, hostile in mind, doing evil deeds. Now listen to Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 3. And this is what it reads. No, well, matter of fact, I started chapter 2, verse 1. And you were dead in the trespasses and sins, okay? And you were dead in the trespasses and sins in which you walked, following the course of this world, following the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience. Okay? Now I want y'all to really pay attention to that. Among whom we all once lived in the passions of our flesh. Okay? Now listen. Among whom we all once lived in the passions of our flesh, carrying out the desires of the body and the mind, and were by nature children of wrath, like the rest of mankind. Now, did you hear that? No one is excluded here. all of mankind is dead in their trespasses and sins. They walk in this. They follow the prince of the power of the air, who is Satan, the spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience. So we've all been disobedient, among whom we all once lived in the passions of our flesh, carrying out the desires of the body and the mind, and were by nature children of wrath like the rest of mankind. Children of wrath, God's wrath. So I know when I speak to a lot of people, they tend to say, well, I'm a good person. I'm a good person. You know, some say I go to church, I pay my tithes, I pray. Some just claim to be good people just because they say they do good things. But the Bible confronts you and says that all mankind is dead in their sins and are children of God's wrath. Wrath. Like, God's wrath is a real thing. It will come. And if you're not born again inside, because there is a cure, there is a remedy to all of this sin. The video that I saw where all the young men were fighting each other, the whole hood was fighting each other. They can all be changed, and that's my hope for humanity. That's my hope for humanity, because I once were dead in my trespasses and sins, walking in them. I was a child of disobedience. I was headed for God's wrath. But when I accepted Christ, no lie, he changed me from the inside. And this change occurred before I ever read these scriptures that I'm about to bring up to you. John chapter 3, 2 Corinthians chapter 5. This happened before then. And when I experienced the change and then I read it, I was like, man, I've really been changed. And all this sin in the world, you really want change? Then you really want Christ. Because he is the only one that can change the mind, the heart, by giving you a new spirit. Now, come on, let's go to John chapter 3. Now check this out. It said, there was a man named Nicodemus, a Jewish religious leader who was a Pharisee. Okay. After dark one evening, he came to speak with Jesus. Rabbi, he said, we all know that God has sent you to teach us. Your miraculous signs are evidence that God is with you. Okay. 8 minutes. Okay, I'm going to do a part. I guess I'm going to do a part 2 because that'll take too long. This is part 1. I'll be right back. We at John chapter 3.